Ken Jennings has posted and deleted a social media retort at a disgruntled Jeopardy viewer that may have gone too far. The champ-turned-host replied to the fan on X, formerly Twitter, by using a divisive term. A Jeopardy viewer tagged Ken, 49, and wrote, "For next time at Ken Jennings. Newfoundland rhymes with understand. Newfoundland understand, emphasis on land. Love the show. You're doing a great job." Ken then replied personally in a response he's since deleted. He wrote, "Not in the US it doesn't. Maybe on Newfie Jeopardy. Someday they'll say it your way." Ken also linked to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, backing up that he didn't do anything wrong. However, Newfie is a term used to describe people from Newfoundland, which, according to the CBC, is divisive when outsiders use it. The outlet wrote, "For some, it's a term of endearment as wholesome as a purity cream cracker and a cup of tea. For others, it's a deplorable insult that's no better than calling someone a moron. Insulting and disappointing." The ex-user replied to Ken, "Wow. If your source knew anything about Newfoundland and Labrador, it would know that many people in this province will find your use of Newfie as insulting as it is disappointing. Please get the producers to play a few old tapes to find out how Alex, properly, pronounced it." Ken then responded once more, "It's not up to me. That's Merriam-Webster you're arguing with." The host deleted his initial reply with Newfie on Tuesday. Another user posted, he deleted his reply possibly after someone told him they consider Newfie derogatory. The original poster wrote, "It just made me sad. We watch the show every night. I've tried to qualify as a contestant for years. And I was only trying to help. Newfoundland clue." The fans' misgiving was over a moment on Monday, November 13's Champions Wildcard episode. The $600 clue was selected under the category Dogs and Cats Living Together. Ken, 49, read what was displayed. "Experts say this breed that originated in Newfoundland is good with cats and heck, everything else." Fred Nelson, who won the episode, was correct with Labrador Retriever, but some fans didn't think Ken correctly said Newfoundland. The host seemed to say Newfoundland instead of Newfoundland, which caused Canadian critics to come out of the woodwork. One fan wrote on X, "OMG and oh. He did not pronounce Newfoundland properly again." Another person claimed, "Newfoundland rhymes with understand." A third fan even linked to an audio snippet of the late Alex Trebek saying the province's name to their liking. However, a fourth defended, "This is insufferable. Leave Ken Jennings alone." This comes just a few days after the champ-turned-host came under fire for an onstage joke about elderly people that harkened to his infamous since-deleted wheelchair tweet. Ken Jennings, the celebrated Jeopardy! Champion-turned-host, had always been known for his quick wit and charm, both on and off the stage. However, his recent social media mishap turned into a PR storm, leaving fans divided and the Jeopardy! Community buzzing. It all began on an otherwise quiet Tuesday evening. The latest episode of Jeopardy! Had just aired, and as was often the case, social media was buzzing with reactions from fans. Some praised the contestants' knowledge, others debated the difficulty of the clues, and a few discussed Ken's hosting style. But one particular tweet caught Ken's eye, and it wasn't a flattering one. The tweet came from a longtime Jeopardy! Fan who had a bone to pick with Ken. The fan accused Ken of mispronouncing a key word in one of the clues during the double Jeopardy! Round. According to the fan, the mispronunciation had caused confusion among the contestants and potentially altered the outcome of the game. Ken Jennings mispronounced the word homage as homage instead of homage. "As a lifelong Jeopardy! Fan, I'm disappointed. This show deserves better," the tweet read. Ken, who prided himself on his near-perfect pronunciation and deep respect for the English language, felt the sting of the accusation. He had always been open to constructive criticism, but this felt different, personal, even. After all, this wasn't just any game show. This was Jeopardy! A show that had been an integral part of his life for decades. Without taking a moment to reflect, Ken fired off a response. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard, the words forming in his mind faster than he could type them. He was determined to defend himself, but his frustration led him to a tone that was less measured than usual. Maybe you should learn a thing or two about pronunciation before coming for me. There's more than one way to say homage, and both are correct. How about focusing on the contestant's impressive knowledge instead of nitpicking? #Jeopardy, Ken tweeted, hitting the send button without a second thought. For a few moments, Ken felt a sense of satisfaction. He had stood up for himself and set the record straight. But as the minutes ticked by, the reality of what he had just done began to sink in. Ken was no stranger to Twitter controversies, but this felt different. The tweet was more confrontational than his usual banter, and he knew that Jeopardy fans were a passionate and vocal bunch. Sure enough, the backlash was swift. Within minutes, Ken's tweet was flooded with replies. Some fans supported him, agreeing that the criticism was unwarranted and praising his quick response. Others, however, were less forgiving. "Ken, you're better than this. No need to lash out at fans," one tweet read. "This is really disappointing, Ken. You should apologize," said another. The tide was turning, and Ken could see it happening in real time. He realized that his response had crossed a line, and the last thing he wanted was to alienate the fans who had supported him throughout his career. He hesitated for a moment, his cursor hovering over the delete button. But it wasn't just about deleting the tweet, it was about making things right. With a sigh, Ken decided to do what he knew he should have done from the start: apologize. Ken quickly drafted a new tweet, hoping to strike the right balance between humility and sincerity. "Hey everyone, I owe you all an apology. My response to a fan earlier was out of line, and I should have handled it better. I'm passionate about Jeopardy, and sometimes that passion gets the better of me. Thank you for keeping me on my toes." #Jeopardy, he wrote before pressing send. He also took the extra step of deleting his original tweet, hoping to minimize the damage. But the internet never forgets, and screenshots of his original response had already begun circulating. The next day, headlines about Ken's Twitter controversy dominated the entertainment news cycle. Some outlets framed it as a minor slip-up, while others painted it as a more significant misstep in Ken's hosting journey. In the days that followed, Ken received an outpouring of support from fans and fellow Jeopardy alums alike. Many appreciated his quick apology and willingness to admit his mistake. Still, the incident sparked a broader conversation about the pressures.